2, 1.
Here we go!
Welcome to Sorare in the States Football. Here are your hosts, the Taco Slayer Jorge and MLS Card Guy Chris.
Welcome back to another episode of So Rare in the States. It pains me to say it that Messi has won his first trophy in America.
Whoa, spoiler alert.
Whoa. But to drown my sorrows, okay, the MLS is back and it's good to go. And oddly enough, a hurricane ruined lives in SO5. And guess what? It wasn't Florida's fault. But Chris, the MLS Card Guy, with me as always. What's up?
What's up, man? I didn't even know they could have hurricanes on the West Coast. I didn't think that was a thing.
Yeah, so they do sometimes. I thought they were like typhoons, but like maybe not. Maybe that's like even more out there in the Pacific. But yeah, apparently, I don't know the exact data, but it's been like since like the 1960s or something like that a hurricane hit over there. So
yeah.
Even though nobody's talking about it, but there's like 4 storms barreling in the Atlantic, like heading this way that like are maybe going to turn into hurricanes. There's like 4 of them just chilling out there. And I'm like, okay, it's like,
it's cool.
Everybody,
no one cares about that because that happens all the time.
They're like, I thought Florida got hit by a hurricane every other week. I was like, yeah. Dude.
Aren't you guys? Isn't that just normal weather?
Yes, it's literally it's just rainy season. That's all it is. It just meshes rainy together. Season. But it's been interesting. But yeah, dude, I hate that we have to talk about it. And Messi won the Leagues Cup final. Was it a fix, Chris? Was it always in the cards? Were the script writers planning this all along?
No, it wasn't. I think the guy is just that good, you know, like, and let's be honest, right? It's a team sport. It's 11-on-11. It's not just Messi that's there. Like, they just brought in Busquets and Alba as well. Like, that's like a third of the team from the 2014 Barcelona team that was just like absolutely ridiculous, that just killed everybody. And yes, they've lost a step, but they're still really, really good. And yeah, I mean, they're just steamrolling people. I mean, hold on.
Whoa.
They're steamrolling people, but they also have like 3 draws. So let's not overreact and say, hey, this is the greatest team of all time ever in any competition of any sport. Because it's been close. I mean, 10-9 in a PK is I mean, let's just chop that trophy in half and give one half to each team, you know? Like that's about as close to a tie as you can get.
And I think that's the coolest thing about this final, because it could have easily been Messi comes out, scores in the first, 5 minutes, and all of a sudden Nashville gets caught chasing the game like everybody else has in this League Cup run. And it's just a means to the end because, like you said, you have Biscuits, you have Jordi Alba, and you have Messi. And all of a sudden, like, no matter what you do, if you overload one or the other or double, like one of them is going to get open. And no matter what, they're threatening from everywhere else. And we said it last week. It's like, if you take Messi out, whatever, because somebody else is just going to do it. And in this game, like you said, it was just so close, such an even tie. Nashville came out to play, and like one could even say that Nashville was the better team throughout most of the entirety of this game. But you get a loose ball that falls right to Messi's feet outside of the box, and Messi only needs one chance. He only needs one shot. He only needs one moment. That was completely covered. Dax was there. Yeah. Yep. It bounced off of Zimmerman's foot. Like, they were there. Like, they literally did whatever they could. And if there's a beautiful, beautiful shot of the goal from behind the net, and just you see the way that he just squeezes that ball in the most minuscule, like, little spot. It's like threading a needle. Just in it's Messi. What are you gonna do? Is Miami maybe that great? I don't know, but they have Messi, and as long as he's playing, what are you gonna do?
You're gonna start him in your MLS Cup Common competition is what you're gonna do. Like, I think that's the answer. Is get that man on Common and play him in the So We're in the States Challenge.
If you don't have Messi in there, you are in a lot of trouble. You are losing. But hey, who knows? I mean, Leagues Cup's over. They got Open Cup this week, this coming Wednesday.
It's true.
And then they have a big old crunch to the end of the season where they have to win all these games to make the playoff. Do you think there is a world where Messi just gets fatigued and like the team gets fatigued because they just went on this crazy run, right? The honeymoon phase could last through Open Cup if they even go for that, right? They have decisions to make, but
will they beat Cincinnati is a different question because Cincinnati is the best team in this league. And yeah, they beat some teams and tied some teams and what have you. It's going to be hard for Cincinnati to beat them, but Cincinnati's at home. They've only drawn one game at home, I believe, this season. Like, this team's real good. So yeah,
but
I know it's Messi, and I know they have a bunch of talent. But even if they try, it's not just a guarantee that they win that game. And I don't even know if they're the favorite, to be honest with you. Yeah, it's a little wild. So for everyone watching on YouTube, we're gonna do something really cool. I'm gonna share my screen because I literally just saw this happen on my screen live, and I was like blown away.
what I miss?
We're gonna put this up here. If you search League up on Google, watch this. Pink freaking fireworks come up on.
Wow!
I've never seen that in my life.
Messi Mania is
Google
here.
Yo,
Soccer Mania is here.
100%. Google's on board. I'm on board, man. Like I'm here for this 1,000%. Like that's crazy to me. I've never seen anything like this.
I hate this.
What are your thoughts?
I mean, look, man, all biases aside, I think it's incredible for the league. It really is. It's having everybody watch, when that final was going on, everybody was watching. All eyes were locked on this league, and they got a good game. Like, don't get it twisted. Yes, we're going to talk about Messi. Yes, he's the GOAT, blah, 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 whatever. But Nashville came out and literally showed up. It wasn't in a game where everyone went, ooh, the MLS, ooh, the quality ball. Like, it was a game.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, this game did not prove anything. They went toe to toe. It was even to even. It came down to goalkeepers. Poor Pinocchio stood on his head, made some saves, got him to that point, and just could not convert on Drake Callender. It did such an awful way to go out, man. I feel
terrible.
I feel so bad for him because it's really just awful way to go out. But they went out with their heads held high. So shout out.
Do you think Sorare should change the scoring matrix to where if you score the winning PK in a knockout, in a penalty shootout, and a knockout, that's a decisive? Because it literally is decisive.
But then no, because then they would probably have to score the rest of the somehow score like
just the winning one. You could give maybe +5 or something if you make your PK.
Okay, I'd be down
10.
for that. Maybe
something like that. I feel like you should score penalty shootouts, because it doesn't happen that much. It's always a knockout game. FA Cup isn't scored, so it's not like you're gonna have these every single week. You're really talking about Champions League, World Cup, Leagues Cup. That's pretty much it, I guess. Well, pretty much any international tournament. But it's not like we see penalty shootouts all the time. And I feel like it'd be cool if you were invested as a fan in hey, Drake Callender, save a freaking PK and you get +3. You get 5 chances to attack on a few more points.
It just messes everything up, and it's just too much. Like look at it early in Leagues Cup when I think Vancouver and who went 19 rounds. Come on, that is so broke. That is so broken. Yeah, it would be awesome if you had them.
That'd be sick.
It's game breaking.
I mean, what do you realistically? If you got +5 for making a penalty, it's an extra 10 points if it goes to 19 rounds. You're only taking 1 every 11 kicks. It's not like you take 2 PKs in a shootout.
Yeah, but 5 points isn't nothing in the Sorare matrix. So
no, it's not.
That's a lot.
That gives you something to root for. Especially if you have a team that's going to PKs, you want your guy to take the penalty. You want one of the top 5 guys on that team. Whereas just having 5 Bayern Munich players, not all of them are going to take PKs,
Okay. All right. Well, here's this.
I mean, it really
all
doesn't
right?
matter because it doesn't happen that much. But
I know. Okay. Well, but here's this. Okay. Before we wrapped up the whole Leagues Cup talks, it's officially over. I saw a lot of chatter because, again, the whole world was watching this final. Why not just get rid of extra time completely
yeah,
and just go straight to pens for everything? Like,
100%.
cut it out. Just
I'm down.
forget it. We don't need it. We don't need 30 extra minutes. Just straight to PK, straight
Yeah.
drama, straight scenes. Would you be down with that? Like, screw it.
Drama.
All the way.
Drama.
Oh.
Do you know how much more fun the Champions League would be if they just like, you know what? There's no away goals. You can't tie. You can't go to extra time. If you're level on goals after 180 minutes, you're going to PKs. Let's go. You know how much that would change the second leg of those games? Like from the 75th to the 90th minute, it would completely change like who's trying to sit in, who's trying to defend, who's trying to score goals. Like it completely changes everything. And probably both teams are trying to score goals because there are very few teams that actually want to go to PKs.
Yeah. Because at that point, it's 50-50 chance.
Win for everybody. More attacking football during the game. Plus, if they actually can't score, you're in PKs.
There you go. We're in it for the drama.
And then you'd hate it.
Well, yeah, that's true. No, trust me. I got to say, I've been in the stadium for some crazy penalty kicks, okay? I've
like
seen
a goalkeeper
some things,
getting sent off.
Like a goalkeeper sent off, the running of the wall against NYCFC in the Owen Cup a couple years back. Like, I've seen some stuff. I was there for the Houston and Leagues Cup. Like, it's intense. I don't think my heart could take it. As the season
exactly
ticket
why
holder,
we should do it. It's exactly why we
it.
should do it.
But
just made my point for me. 100%.
Just drama, the heart pounding moments, the silence before the kick. Drama scenes. There you go. There you have it. But let's just wrap it up. I'm so tired of talking to Messi because they won the Leagues Cup. They didn't play this weekend. MLS is back. Tired of it. Before we go it off, let's put the nightcap on the Leagues Cup. Was it a success? And are you excited for Leagues Cup 2024?
Yes, I think.
You think?
I mean, I don't really love. I don't love it from a Sorare perspective, right? It's prime months for MLS, and I felt like I couldn't pick a lineup that was actually going to start.
That you were confident in,
because you could never see what the coaches want to do with rotations and stuff like that. From a fan perspective, outside of Sorare, loved it. Want to see it again. Absolutely. There were, I think I just counted this, so I might be wrong, but I think there were 13 penalty shootouts in the knockout round.
Holy
13.
Smokes.
Like, plus the final. Like, that, that's it.
Drama.
I live for penalties. I literally just go on FIFA and just play penalty shootouts. We don't even
That's
need
it.
the game. Yeah.
No, why not? Penalty Simulator 2024. That's it.
On that way, you know? But yeah, loved it.
Okay. I'm in the same boat. Like, look, for Sorare, I think it messed things up SO5 wise. The market, I think it killed it. I think it kind of shook things up a little bit. It's going to be interesting where it goes from here into the end of the season with everything going on and all the changes that Sorare is making. So definitely made for some interesting times, and it'll be kind of fun to figure out what is going to happen with the market and then kind of anticipation for next summer as well. So yeah, Leagues Cup was great. It was a lot of fun. The Liga MX versus MLS matches were a lot of fun, a lot of drama, a lot of fights, a lot of red cards, a lot of penalty kicks. 2024, let's run it back because it was incredibly fun. But the MLS is back. Chris, did you finally watch some football?
I don't know what MLS is. But I watched a couple soccer teams play games against each other for the first time in forever. Actually, that's not true because I watch a soccer team every weekend. It's just not an MLS team. But I did watch a half of two different games.
Ooh.
So I have actual thoughts of things and opinions.
Right. So where are we going first? Take us away.
So I watched Hellas Real because I'm in Pittsburgh, which is pretty close to Columbus. It's like 3 hours. Since he's 5. I'm it's the closest like local rivalry. And wow. Columbus is good.
Wow.
They're really, really good. Like, you beat Cincinnati 3-0, and it wasn't even really that close, at least in the first half that I watched. Columbus was all over them, and this was without Lucas Elrayan, which is impressive, and without Diego Rossi, which is also impressive. I don't know if he came in the second half.
He did. He did. He finally subbed in.
He made his debut, which is
He did
cool.
make his
32
debut.
minutes. But yeah, I mean, my goodness, Columbus. Wilfred Nancy, by the way, phenomenal coach. He at some point will be the coach of like a top 6 team or like somebody big, like he is just fantastic. He has these guys balling. Aiden Morris's goal was incredible.
Oof.
Yeah, I don't know what to say.
Columbus went from a team that was questionable to all of a sudden just a powerhouse. And I think a lot of it does have to do with Nance having the time to set this team together. And it's almost one of those things where, like, you would think that losing Zelarayan, you'd be like, okay, well, Columbus is done for the season. Like, they're going to go rebuild. But they brought in Gressel. They bought in Diego Rossi. Cucho Hernandez is ridiculous. Nagby is having a great year. Aiden Morris stepped it up this year. This team, not only that, but they play such pretty soccer. Like, it's fast, it's dynamic. Like, it is,
and they have the ball the whole time. It's incredible.
And just their ball movement is so quick. Like, dude, they tore the Cincy team apart, who is running away with the supporter shield. This team is not bad. And like, do you think part of it might have been having a kind of little long break off and maybe not so ready for this game? Or do you think Columbus was just like, man, they just came out to win?
Cincy had their 2 best defenders not playing, which did make a difference, right? Miazga and Mascara, both not there. And they're also trying to kind of integrate the Bupenza guy, who actually was pretty good, and he had some runs where he was open. They just didn't find him. So I don't think like all is lost for Cincinnati or anything like that. I still think they're one of the best teams. Columbus just got them. Like, they just had a better day, and they just like tore them apart, which kind of tells you what this team can be. Like, I feel like Columbus at their peak can beat anybody. Like, this team, if they were to go and win MLS Cup, I would not be surprised in the least. Like, they are easily one of the most talented teams in the league. We just have to see it from them consistently, and Cincinnati's had that consistency, which is what's been different. So yeah, I think these 2 teams will probably see each other again when we get to knockouts. And I think that will be a very entertaining game to watch, because I also think it'll be played in Cincinnati, which, good luck.
Man, they're so fun to watch. It's one of those teams where almost pull like a Minnesota during the Leagues Cup, where they're so fun to watch, and there's just so many players on this.
Completely unstoppable, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, even
like
a few months back, like watching the Orlando game, dude, they tore us apart. Like, they just constantly in your half, pressing the ball, going out wide, crossing balls, second balls. Like, they are just in your face. They just, oh, dude. Columbus might be one of the favorites going into the postseason. And yeah, you're right. If they get into that, and Wilfred Nancy is probably not going to be in MLS for a long time. Just saying.
Literally came up from Montreal's, I don't know if it was like youth academy or B team or something. Like, he just been at Montreal for like 2 decades, and Thierry Henry left, and they were like, well, we got nobody else, go for it. And then they were like, great. Like, Georgi Mihailovic did his whole thing, and people were like, oh my God, this dude, he can coach. And then Columbus grabbed him and gave him actual players. And yeah, they're dangerous. They're very dangerous. Are you scared sitting 1 point above old Columbus for that home playoff spot?
Yeah. Actually, yeah.
Yeah.
I can't deny that, man. And Rossi isn't even integrated into this team, and we saw what he could do for LAFC. Vela was out a lot of that season, and Rossi was the one that stepped up, and we know what he can do in this league. He's used to the league, so it's just a matter of him integrating into the system. Hell is real, and it is yellow. But do not discredit Cincinnati. They are also a really good team.
Before we move on from Diego Rossi,
yes,
that is my all-time worst Sorare purchase.
Oh
I paid
no.
0.87 ETH for him, and I started, and he's worth like what 0.1 now. I mean, I sold him a long time ago at 0.226, so I'm not even didn't even hold to the bottom. But yeah, I was like, this dude, because I'd watched Diego Rossi for like 2 years at LAFC. I was like, this dude is like the MVP of the league. I want that card. Like, I never ever made a purchase that big. And I was like, I don't care how much it costs. I have to have him. And then he like transferred out immediately. And I was like, well, yeah, cool.
Yeah, if he could get these scores again, like he can.
Oh man, this
he
dude's
can smash.
Legit. He has the talent to be the best player in MLS. No, not even close. Like, I can show you the graph of me making purchases and selling. Yeah. Yeah, this was.
You tried to buy him on the way down. You thought you were.
Oh, I was like,
bottom?
Yo, like these guys, man. I'm getting a steal right here, and I did not get a steal. That was not what was happening at all. Yeah, he just left like immediately after this. He left it like here, I think, and just continued to plummet. And I was like, well,
he wasn't covered, right? I think it's what it was.
I think he was covered.
Oh, really?
But he wasn't playing or something in Fenerbahce. Something like that. I don't remember what it was, but like, yeah, his value like significantly dropped.
So here's the question: are you going to buy another one?
I might. I legitimately might buy one now at 0.1 and hold till it gets back to 0.8 and go even on Diego Rossi for my lifetime. Yeah, I might have to.
When in doubt, when in a hole, just dig
like these
out.
prices are absurd.
For a player that can score that good in the MLS,
and a
100%, and a forward.
Yeah, he's good.
So Diego Rossi, be on the lookout. If you can snag one, do your thing because it is totally worth it. But again,
until
don't discredit
by another 5 times like it did on me.
That's it's fine. Chris, what other game did you watch before we dive in? Let's steamroll the MLS.
I was like, you know what? I haven't watched any of Nashi's team in a while. I haven't watched any of Jorge's team in a while. Let's see how this goes. And I watched a poor half of soccer, to be fair.
Poor half? What are you talking about?
I did watch the first half. It wasn't where all the goals were, but yeah, it was. I was not impressed by either team. Now, Orlando was on the road, and they did get 3 points, so shout out to them. And Chicago's been kind of good recently, although I'm still not a believer. But yeah, I wasn't really super thrilled with anything that happened, if that makes sense.
You shouldn't be. It was gross. At halftime, I was fuming. I was upset. I was not happy. It was a very, very ugly game. We should have been down. Chicago Fire had a few goals called back by VAR.
Literally one was like that FIFA goal where you're like 2-0 against the goalkeeper and you just slide it to the other guy because you want the goal and the assist to go on that guy. And he was like a quarter of a step offside, like an idiot. Yeah, that should have 100% been 1-0. He finishes that 9 times out of 10 if he just takes it himself.
Yeah. It's one of those things where, like, even if it didn't get called off, I would have been like, "Good, we deserve to get scored." It was so poor, and I said it right before. I think I even tweeted it out.
You could see the run coming a mile
away. Well, even before when they posted the lineup, Antonio Carlos, I guess, took a knock in training, so he was out.
Yeah.
And then they benched Kyle Smith for Dagger Dan Thor Hallison, our Icelandic player that we just picked up, which is okay because Mikey Halliday is working his way back from injury finally, so they threw him out there. On the same side, and the first thing that I said is that is a choice because those two, Schlegel's unpredictable. Dagger Dan is more like a wingback, not really defensive minded. So I was like, great, here we go. And what happened on that goal? Schlegel got caught out. Dagger Dan was out of position, nowhere in sight, and it was just straight on goal, and I was like,
The worst part for
"Oh
me,
no!"
they're like 2-0 with the goalkeeper, and the defender just like stops running. He's just like, nah, I'm good. Like you guys go ahead. I'm not gonna catch you. It's fine. They're like in the
So
box. He's like a half a step away, and he doesn't like try to challenge or anything. He just like pulls up. I'm like, if someone did that on my team, they'd never see the field again, ever. Like
yeah,
crazy.
and it sucks because Orlando City cannot put together a full 90 minutes. Like you either get the first half or the second half, but you never get both. And you could say, yeah, they're on the road. Let's hold out for the first half, just try to get by, and then we'll come out firing in the second. And I guess that's kind of what happened, but Chicago had to come out and score a goal in like the first 2 minutes of the second half. And it's like, oh, great, here we go. And they managed to crawl their way back. It wasn't pretty. Wasn't necessarily off the run of play. It was off set pieces and penalties and stuff like that. So it is a little questionable, but they did get it done. And Chicago is incredible in transition and on the counter. If they can get out into space, holy smokes. Be careful. Gutierrez, awesome. Shaqiri, he's a little bitch.
I'm not impressed with Shaqiri either. Actually, I don't think
He's
he's really that good.
I'm trying to think who he reminds me of, and he's worse than Nani. But dude, he is such a crybaby on the pitch. Every little thing, he's like, "Hey, give me a card." He's like, "Oh, what are they doing?" It's like, "Oh, where's the call?" It's like, dude, cry harder. And then
Like
Schlegel
Lucho
busted him
Acosta,
up,
but without the talent.
even though Schlegel busted him open. But we won't talk about that.
Yeah, he was literally bleeding, and Schlegel's like,
Schlegel was like, "What?
I didn't touch you, man. What do you want? Like, I'm bleeding. I don't know what are you talking about."
Look, man, as a defensive liability as Schlegel is, I love having him on the pitch because he did it in the Champions League against Tigres where he almost got Gignac a red card. Like when you need him most, he's going to be right there to just get in the head of the other team, and he's just always there when you need him most. But great win for Orlando on the road. Good result. We needed it. Up to fourth in the standings by a little bit. It's a little tight up there, but
It is tight.
But we roll. You love to see it, and
You could be down in seventh if you lose one game.
yeah, it'll be interesting.
You could also be up in second if you win one game.
But we have St. Louis next week, so that'll be a fun matchup. That'll be a good game. We'll see if we can expose them and not pass them the ball in the back for a free goal.
Yeah.
Which why don't we just go there now with St. Louis and Austin? Austin?
You got enough Orlando players there?
No, I don't. I do not at all.
His whole screen is filled with just one game. It's just the Orlando.
Oh
Chicago
yeah,
game.
all my Orlando players
all the way across. It's incredible.
I have them all.
Anything like that?
I have every Orlando City player. That
Everybody on the roster. There's no Chicago guys even in there. It's just Orlando.
Do I own any? No, I have their midfielder Gaston Jimenez, who was kind of good last year before he got hurt, and he's okay now. But Chicago's questionable at less. But St. Louis and Austin 6-9 goals in this game. Is St. Louis that good, or is Austin that bad?
Yes. Yes. No, I don't know. I didn't watch, and to be fair, I haven't watched either of these teams literally all year long. I watched the first St. Louis game, and that was it. I was never on the Austin bandwagon. They're -3 in goal differential now, by the way. They're still in a playoff spot, but they're 2 points ahead of Dallas. Minnesota's on fire. I don't know. They'll probably sneak into the playoffs just because the 4 teams at the bottom are probably not catching them. But man, I don't think they are going to do much in the playoffs. I think they'll play in that play-in game.
And this is a St. Louis team without their main man Klaus in the midfield.
It's wild.
And what is it about teams that just gift St. Louis goals?
I don't know, dude.
And I know other people have pointed it out too. I think Trippin's always pointing it out in the Discord that it's how many times now has a defender or the goalkeeper just passed the ball straight to St. Louis for an easy goal? It's happened at least 5 times now.
They've scored 49 goals. I'm pretty sure 47 of them have been the defender's fault. They're like 2 like real good goals. Outside of that, it's just like, what are we doing?
No, it literally is. And it blows my mind. And something I want to ask you here. Nicholas Giacchini, who Orlando City let go, which is now
Bold
looking a little
strategy, Cotton.
questionable, started off hot, kind
Yeah.
of disappeared, but came back, which pisses me off because during the Leagues Cup break, I was looking at him and thought about taking a stab on Giacchini, and I didn't. And of course, he comes back and scores 2 goals immediately. Is this a guy that you would look into, like
Scroll up to that
purchasing?
price. Scroll up to that price. Show the people what the price is. Hell no.
No.
That is way too expensive for a dude that's going to produce what he's produced this year. And that's if he can produce from the beginning of the year.
Right.
Like, no chance. That
No chance.
you're paying like pretty decently solid money. Like, you can get a really good player for that price. There's no chance that you're getting the production back on Giacchini. No chance.
Like obviously, like price pending. Like I'm not saying go out and buy him right now at this price, but is this someone who is finding his way on a new team, an expansion team? Clearly, he can
Yeah.
play. If you could
He's a
get him,
decent player.
even prepping for next season, is this like a guy that like I just didn't know if you had any opinion on Giacchini at all, because I liked what I saw in Orlando, but it didn't get enough time. They just didn't give him the
Yeah.
opportunity. And then he just showed up in St. Louis. He's like, hey, look, I can score goals. And
On
dude,
the
the goals that he
field?
score are fantastic.
Yeah. Oh yeah. On the field, no one. I don't think anyone's going to question the talent. Just his style of play is not conducive to Sorare. Like
Okay. All
I
right.
just don't. I don't recommend guys like this.
Mhm.
And even like Holland is like the best at this, right? Like he's goal or nothing.
Right.
And guys like that can be useful in a capped mode, but I would not recommend them for any other lineups because they're just way too risky and they will destroy your lineup 9 times out of 10. And the only time they don't destroy your lineup is if Brad Stuver passes them the ball and says, "Here, take a shot," and then they do.
Lovely.
Brad
Lovely
Stuver
zero.
throwing up the 0. Yikes.
Yikes.
5 as the decisive, and then you got a -6 all around. My guy.
-18.
He had 4
points.
saves too. That's incredible.
Wow. Brad Stuver. Austin, is there so I think it's safe to say, and it's weird because Austin just got rid of what's his Fagundes? Was it
Yeah.
Fagundes?
Yeah.
What's the story for Austin here? Like, are they just gonna get by? They're in a good spot. They could hold on to a playoff. Are they just kind of getting by and looking towards next year? You think that's the Austin plan at this point?
I think they were very bad their first year. Got Driussi in July. Were a little bit better. Last year they way overperformed. This year is back to like kind of what they should be, if not maybe a little higher. Like they should maybe be like 5, 6, 7 in the Western Conference,
Right.
but not really any higher than that. So I think they're underperforming a little, but I also think last year was like ridiculous. Like Fagundes is not anywhere near that good. He had a crazy year, as did a few other people. And Driussi can carry the team, but when you have guys like this, like Hadi Mukhtar in Nashville,
Right.
have those like just a few games he just doesn't carry and you just lose, like you're going to draw points because they just don't have anybody. They don't have a plan B. It's like
Which
a
is
pitcher
like
in
half the
baseball.
MLS.
Yeah, it's like a pitcher in baseball with like 100-mile-an-hour fastball. Like, great, you're going to get guys out, but you're also not going to get everybody out because some people are just going to sit dead red. And if you have no other pitch, like if you have nothing, no changeup, no curveball, nothing, then eventually people will find hits here and there. Unless you're Mariano Rivera, which that's different. But you get my point. Like, you need a plan.
I get it. I get it.
Something to turn to when that breaks down. So yeah, I think that's kind of where they should be.
No, I agree. It almost feels like they kind of shipped it, and we're like, look, this clearly isn't it. And they're just gonna get by. They went on a little heater a little bit, got themselves in good position, which granted the West is all over the place anyway. So yeah, it's kind of their saving grace, and I think it's maybe a little bit of a rebuild mode, and looking forward to next year and hoping for the best, and get Driussi some help, please, because Matt Hedges came from Toronto and said, "Hey, look, I brought this useless defense. Score 6 goals on us, please."
He was great in Dallas. Can we just point out LAFC is currently on 37 points. Dallas is currently on 30. They're only 7 points apart.
Right.
From second to 10th, they're 7 points apart.
That's crazy. It's anybody's it's anybody's game. Well, isn't the East up at the top like super like congested too?
It is, but there's a pretty good gap between the top teams and like their next tier. Like since he's at 51, New England's at 43, Philly's on 40, which is where the pile starts. Right. Orlando's on 40, Columbus on 39, Nashville's at 38, Atlanta's at 38. And then there's a 6-point gap to Montreal and Chicago at 32. And then DC in 10th is at 30. So it's a much bigger like gap between like 7th and 8th. Whereas in the West, it's like a 1-point gap in like pretty much every spot.
We are in that perfect time of the MLS where I think the playoffs start now. Like right now is the push. From now to the end, like you are pushing for your spot, and we'll probably dive into this a little bit later towards the playoffs, but the entire playoff structure has changed and it's best of 3. And I think that dynamic,
except the first game, right?
No, so they're all best of 3.
Isn't the 8-9 the 8 versus 9 game? Isn't that one?
Is there a wild card now, like a play-in now?
9 teams make the playoffs.
Okay, first place would get the bye though, wouldn't they?
So normally, I honestly haven't even looked into how they set it up. Normally, if you have 9 teams make a playoff, you have 8 play 9 as like a play-in game, and then you would have the winner of that play 1, and then 2 versus 7, 3 versus 6, 4 versus 5, and you just go like a normal knockout from there.
Okay, that would make sense.
So like 8 and 9 would be the only teams that would have to play the play-in game.
Interesting. Like I said,
so I think that's how they do it.
We'll dive into that later, but it'll be interesting because I was thinking about that. So the top places, if it does go to a third game, they have the home field advantage, and if you have 2 home games against 1, the advantage is there, as we all know in the MLS. That 100%. Home games carry so much weight. That'll be very, very interesting. So it's very tight in the standings, and I think every team wants to get that extra home game. Because think about it, if it's best of 3, each team gets a home game. Like, how many of these series are going to go? Well, yeah, how many of these games are going to go all 3 games because of that? It's
probably
so
all of them,
which is awesome in a way. But those top spots are going to be. I think people are like displaying like, oh, everybody makes the playoffs, but I think those top spots are a lot more valuable than people are giving them right now.
Oh yeah,
and it's going to be very spicy. And speaking of someone,
wait, before we move on. I just pulled it up, so I'm gonna read all of the things.
Okay.
So wild card matches.
Show it?
Yeah, I can throw it up on the screen here.
Yeah, because we're on YouTube now. LOL, if you're listening to the podcast, check us out on YouTube.
This should be fun. So, wild card matches are the 8 versus 9, right? That's the wild card. That's down here.
Oh, so there's wild card.
So they're gonna play. I think it's a 1-off from what I can see, and then the best of 3s are from like 1 through 7 plus the winner of the wild card.
Gotcha.
So, oh wait, so the wild card is 2 games. 2 single elimination matches hosted by the higher seed. So the 8 seed hosts. If the score is tied at the end of the regulation, no extra time will be played. Teams will participate in kicks from the penalty spot to determine the winner. Big fans. Straight to pens. We love that. The winner of each wild card will advance to the round 1 best of 3 series to face the number 1 seed.
Oof.
Best of 3 series. Every round 1 game will have a winner. There's no ties. There's no aggregate score. It doesn't matter if you win 7-0 in game 1. You still got to go play game 2. It's just like other American sports.
Love
It's
it.
a home away home format. So it's higher seed host, then the lower seed host, then the higher seed host again. And again,
Huge.
no extra time. We just go straight to freaking PKs, which is wild. And then, like I said, 1 plays the winner of 8-9, 2 versus 7, 3 versus 6, 4 versus 5. Conference semis, single elimination match hosted by the higher seed. If it's tied at the end, we go to extra time, and then
Dang
we
it.
go to PKs. So it's
Boo.
basically normal knockout from there for conference semifinal, and then conference final is again normal knockout, just like extra time and then PKs, and then the MLS Cup final is normal time, extra time, penalties, knockout.
Love it. Boo.
So really, it's just round 1 that's like insane. This is gonna be a fun. I don't know if this is this over a weekend.
It's probably throughout the week,
It's
right?
like
Weekend,
3
midweek. Oh,
Yeah,
snap.
28th to the 12th.
So it's probably like a Friday, Wednesday, Sunday, maybe.
No, I think
Right?
it's like 2 weeks. But I'm pulling on my calendar. You guys can't see it, but I am pulling it up. So the 28th, so is a Saturday,
Right.
and then the 12th is 2 Sundays later.
Oh,
So it's gonna
wow,
be
yeah.
like Saturday game, Saturday game, Saturday
Sun-
game, or like Sunday game, Sunday game, Sunday game.
Interesting.
So it's gonna be like 3 weeks just playing the same team, which is gonna be.
That's
I don't know how
wild.
that's gonna work.
I don't know.
It's gonna be wild.
Oh, MLS making things ridiculous. Making
Honestly,
things
I kind of
weird.
feel like this is the hardest part to get through. Like you're gonna be the same team twice, and then you get a bye. Oh man, that's crazy.
It'll be. They have to know what they're doing. Don Garber knows what he's doing, right? We trust Don Garber. He brought Messi to the league. We trust him.
Okay,
We love him.
we love Donnie G. Get yourself some Garber bucks and go nuts.
There you go. That's what we're talking about. Well, actually, that's another episode we're gonna do in the future. We're gonna dive into the Gam Tam Wham Bam. Thank you, ma'am.
Oh, I know all
League
about
salary. You know all
I'll
about
tell
it.
you everything you want to know.
Yes. I also have a good friend here in Orlando who is also a nerd into that, and I was thinking about inviting him on and like just letting you guys nerd out and just like
If-
me on the sideline learning because I'm gonna add
Yo.
no value to that conversation. So,
I know more than probably like 99.8% of people, and I probably know like 50% of the actual rules.
I know it's great.
No one actually knows all the rules. It's just like, oh, I thought it was this. Oh, I thought it was this. But like, no one knows.
I like to
wild.
think of it as a make up the rules as you go kind of vibe
Kind
that
of.
the MLS has. We kind of
It's not. I don't know. It's not make up the rules as you go. There's just a lot of flexibility within the rules. Like you can do a lot of things, and I don't think enough teams take advantage of all the different things they can do.
Now they are.
That makes sense.
Especially because you see everybody using the under 23 initiative, the young DP. Like they I feel like now more teams are like, oh wait, this is something that we can do, and like they are just going for it.
Instead of 3 good players, you get 6 good players. Like why?
It's great. Like why would you not? Because they don't know the rules either.
No, they don't. Literally, I will. Working in soccer, I will guarantee you that at least 80% of the execs that run the salary cap have no idea what the salary cap rules are.
No, because
there's
like
like 2 or 3 nerds that really know what they're doing. Probably St. Louis is one of them.
Yeah, clearly.
But yeah, like I guarantee you, those guys have no idea.
Well, I'll give you a team that thinks they have an idea. They don't always have an idea, but they got some good ends right now, and they're probably going to shuffle it again because one of them has asked for a trade. I think. I don't know if the rumors were true or not, but we're going to talk about 2 of these teams, Atlanta United and the Seattle Sounders. I brought it up last week. You pushed back on it. I think Seattle's cooked. And Atlanta all of a sudden decided to be good on defense again. I don't know. Okay. Did Atlanta figure their defense out, or is Seattle just that
bad? At Seattle, too.
At Seattle.
Late night, MLS after dark, doesn't matter. Who cares?
No.
Atlanta's just going to come with it. I don't know.
Guzan clean sheet? What? I had him on my bench.
Bruh.
I didn't even blame him.
Like, you look at the names on that sheet, Lennon, Robinson, Abraham, Wiley. 3 of those 4, I don't know anything about Abraham. 3 of those 4 are really good defenders.
Right.
Like they should be very good. Now they've not had a midfield in forever. But man, like I like this is how Atlanta should be. Atlanta should be able to just beat everybody. And they just don't. That being said, what Seattle is
old.
I don't know, dude.
Old.
You start Rui Diaz, you start Ladero.
You have everybody. Like this is probably like about as strong as they want to be, right? Like this is probably
Christian Roldan isn't in there, and he is a big part of what they do.
That is true. I will say that.
But man, like you can't just be missing Christian Roldan and be this bad, you know?
No, and if you look, like Seattle missed some really good chances. It wasn't just like, oh, it wasn't their night. Like they had chances, they made they just didn't convert them for whatever reason. And granted, Giakoumakis, had a really good game, which he's really washy. He's been dealing with injuries. That's another guy who I've been thinking about. Obviously, I don't really follow Atlanta too much for reasons I think we all know. But what do you think about Giakoumakis here, who also has seen kind of a dip? Who also seen kind of a dip in form. Is this a guy who you might look at maybe even for next year, which I know there are a little bit of rumors. Obviously, Thiago Almada is probably out in the winter.
Yep.
Do they build around Giakoumakis then? Does that open the door for them to bring in pieces to put around Giakoumakis and really unleash him? Because Giakoumakis was like an addition to what this team already kind of was that was in rebuild mode, but now Thiago Almada out of the picture, focus on Giakoumakis, which is clearly your guy after that, and then just really, really go for it. What do you think?
You say pieces. If you get rid of Almada, you get one piece. Remember, because this is the MLS and salary cap rules. Yeah. This is the same as Giacchini.
I know.
I don't see it.
But there's no options. There's no options in the MLS. They're all like this.
I know they're all like this. That's why you got to just get, you got to suck it up and you got to buy Messi. Like this game ain't that hard. Just suck it up and buy Messi. Like you have no choice. No, there's some forwards that are actually like pretty decent AA wise. But dude, like guys like this are just like terrifying. One, he gets hurt. 2, he subs like 3/4 of the time. 3, if he doesn't score, he's putting up a 30.
And he plays on turf.
Again, maybe a cap mode, but like this is a lot to pay at the limited level or the rare level for a guy that you're only can really use in cap mode, and only really when he's not in form. You can't even use him when he's scoring because his cap ceiling is going to go up to what he's scoring, and then you don't have no upside, you just have downside. Like, yeah, I don't get it. I don't understand how he's that expensive.
Giakoumakis?
Yes.
He's just one of those guys that came into the league. He was hot. He came from Celtic. Shout out Quinny. It's one of those things where he came in hot. He was supposed to be this guy. He has Thiago Almada like under him. Like, why wouldn't he just bang in 100 goals a game?
And he's not been bad, to be fair.
No, he hasn't been bad. He's just injured and out of the rotation and in some
not
weird
a sober
ups
player.
and downs. Yeah, but
not a sober player at all.
Again, the forward pool is just so hard.
Give me Jesus Ferreira.
Oh, Jesus Ferreira, you say?
I mean, he is like slightly more expensive, but he's not that much more expensive, and he is significantly better.
Right.
Like he's thousands of times better for actual SoFi.
Okay. I guess. Yeah. I mean, he's been a darling forever, but is he going to be here though? Is Jesus Ferreira going to be here? Because now there's the rumors that he's going to leave. And then at that point, is he going to pull a Pepe?
He will leave. Yeah. And that's 100% the risk. But if Giakoumakis continues to score goals, he's going to leave too.
He just got here though. You think he just comes...
So did Almada.
Yeah, but
he's 1 year. He's 1 year ahead of Almada as far as being here.
Yeah, and Almada has a World Cup already.
True, but he didn't play in that World
Cup. Like, what is Almada? The thing is, like, Giakoumakis came from Europe.
Yeah.
he still has maybe a lot to prove for himself in the league. Like, what does Almada have to prove in MLS? Like, there is nothing. Like, yeah,
Nothing.
if he wins MLS Cup, cool, but like that does not mean anything for a wonder kid for Argentina who just won a World Cup. Like at this point, like he needs to go to Europe. Like there's really nothing here for him. So I think it's a little bit like, would it be cool to have him here? Hell yeah. He's such a fun player to watch, but there's just nothing for him here, unfortunately.
Yeah. No, I don't disagree with that.
Which sucks. Which is what this league is, right? We're literally a farm league for Europe. We're gonna bring in the South Americans and then we sell them off, and then we're the pipeline, and it's great. Which is great because
That's
if
the fun
see,
part.
big
See,
brain,
we get them all before they're good.
see, big
That's what I
brain, we
mean.
get them for cheap when they come to the MLS, and then they get
Yep.
sold and become wonder kids. But if you were playing the MLS, you already would have known about them.
Yep.
See, alpha in the MLS,
Basically
in
like
America.
a whole league of Ajaxes, except not
Yes.
good.
But parity, so
that-
goalkeepers can't keep clean sheets.
Speaking of goalkeepers, 17.5 million. Wow.
Whoa.
Crazy.
Can we talk about not even just the price tag, but they are 2 for 2 right now
Yeah.
with goalkeepers.
And paid nothing.
New
like-
England.
They signed Matt Turner as an undrafted free agent, literally paid him $0 to get him.
Right.
And then sold him for what, 10 million or whatever. Used like a fifth of that to buy Georgi Petrovic, who's been incredible, and I think he's a great goalkeeper.
Oh,
and now
best goalkeeper in MLS.
flip him for 8x. Like, dude, they're playing so rare in real life. Like they're living the dream up there in New England.
Buy low, sell high, baby.
Buy
That's all
low,
it is.
sell high. Can't
Buy-
beat the Pittsburgh Riverhounds in the US Open Cup, but they're living the dream otherwise.
Ooh, yikes.
Shots
So does that
fired.
mean y'all could beat Chelsea?
Well, we could score on Chelsea, except
I
that
see.
he wasn't playing that game. So
Gotcha.
we don't know that we can score on Chelsea.
So that opens up the conversation. Who's the goalkeeper for New England now? Are they gonna buy another guy? Are they gonna rely on Earl Edwards?
Not Earl Edwards. Pittsburgh proved that. It's not Earl Edwards.
So
I hope at least.
And I don't have the tweet pulled up because I'm terrible at this, but I did see on the tweeters /X/ whatever you want to call it that Tom Bogart came out and said
Tommy
that they
B.
were already in the market for one, and they already
Sure.
had plans because the window is kind of closed. I think they could only get within the league and or USL. So, Chris, who could it be? Who's a goalkeeper floating around the MLS that
Or USL.
or USL that
We have a
could,
pretty good goalkeeper.
Are you
I
gonna
don't
get
know,
sniped?
man. I don't
know.
I think it's gonna be fun though.
Speculation season is real right now.
Yeah.
It's you're playing goalkeeper roulette right now with who's going to be the guy
You're
in New England.
100% played roulette. Yeah.
And is the plan to
I'm-
just go buy some backup keepers? Is it maybe Polscan? Maybe I don't know.
Polscan
Who
would
else?
be
Who else
fun.
is who else is floating around as a backup that's unused right now?
Me Mauer's out there.
Oh, do you remember?
Throwback from 2 years ago when I had so many of those cards. He
See,
didn't
it's
start.
it's gonna be pretty
Stephen
interesting.
Cleveland. I mean, Maxi Crepeau's a free agent at the end of the year.
They
rent him. Does LAFC go, oh, we're good with McCarthy?
That's been the
know?
question. Trust me, I sold McCarthy at the beginning of the season thinking Crepeau would come in, and guess what? He's still
I
starting.
would really not be happy if they traded him to New England because I have Long and Murillo, and I've been just waiting for months to get this stack going. And if he doesn't ever get back, I'm gonna cry.
It do be like that. It do be like that.
I'm pulling up MLS goalkeepers so I can just like throw some names out there and just like reminisce about guys that should have been playing that aren't, and be sad about my life. Guys that I've owned that no longer play. It's gonna be a long time. How much time we got? It's gonna be a long one.
Oof.
Oh,
Not
man.
too much. But while you look that up, I'm gonna go ahead and move us along real quick because we need to talk about the greatest team in the big old state of Texas, the
Tyler
Houston
Miller.
Dynamo.
Tyler Miller. Well, Just saying.
No. Houston Dynamo put up 5
Ben
on the
Olsen.
Portland Timbers.
The Fighting Ben Olsens.
The Fighting Ben Olsen.
I don't know that they've ever scored 5 goals under Ben Olsen. Ever.
Well, when you have Corey Baird as your starting number 9,
yeah.
anything is possible, brother.
Anything's possible, baby.
What a game for the Houston Dynamo, who continue to be dominant at home. You cannot beat this team at home. So good at home that Karaskia had the audacity to backheel the most incredible ball in for a goal that just leaves you going, what? And you're watching the Houston Dynamo? They don't even need to pass it forward. They backheel and it's a goal. It's that easy for the Houston Dynamo. They're that good.
Crazy.
Portland Timbers. I've said it all year. I've said it before the season.
Suck.
I said it now. Nothing about this team excites me. They can't get it done on the field.
Yeah. It's time to blow it up in Portland.
You think so?
Yeah. It's time to just go, you know what? It didn't work. Get rid of everybody. Start over. Like Brian Acosta? Really? Come on.
Yeah.
FC Dallas failure. Colorado Rapids failure. Let's bring him to Portland and see if he's good. I do own a bunch of Brian Acosta cards as a disclaimer. But that's beside the point. Yeah. I don't know, man.
Look, Portland is in shambles. Houston's good
know.
at home. It was just one of those games. Again, I gotta think some of these games are just like, hey, we've been off for a little bit. We're a little rusty. We're a little laggy. We didn't want to get out of bed this morning. Look, I get it. The Portland Timbers aren't that great, but 5-0 from the Houston Dynamo. Come on, man. Like, come on, brother. Like you can't be letting Houston do that to you. Which, granted, Steve Clark continues to prove that he's like the best goalkeeper in the MLS.
He's been very good, to be fair. And all goalkeepers under Ben Olsen are very good, to be fair.
And it sucks because he's so old that I don't like want to go out and buy him. But I'm like, look, I'm missing out on all these great scores. Like,
you can't.
It's just
like
if
you buy him and he probably retires at the end of the year, and you've got 10 games. Like, great.
If you have him,
can't
keep playing him. But what
you have him, you should have sold him already.
Yeah, I mean that too.
You
realistically. 100%. That's why we have you here to keep us on our toes. Also, so rare. I would like a Bossy card, please, because he just continues to take bends, put the goal in the back of the net. The fact that he does not have a card yet, awful, awful, awful. What are you doing to us? So rare. But
so, can we go back to goalkeepers real quick?
Yes.
Joe Willis.
Oh, the Joe Willis conversation.
Joseph Willis.
I love this conversation. I love this conversation.
Alec Kahn would be incredible.
Ooh.
I'd love that.
You were big on him, weren't you?
I'm still big on him. I'm just also big on Celentano. They both play for the same team, so 2 birds right there. Jimmy Maurer would be a lot of fun. Marco Illich could potentially work from Portland. Matt Freese, sort of.
Maybe. He's fighting for a spot already.
He's been. I feel like they only played him as a here's a game kid. Like Barraza's got that job,
I guess. But I mean, I wouldn't say Barraza's like a lock either. So I was like,
yeah,
that was interesting.
Pulskamp would be fun. Although Pulskamp's played 3 games recently.
But McIntosh also proved that he was trusted early on in the season too, and got some minutes. So either one of them could move on.
I don't know that I would really want McIntosh, to be fair.
I didn't think he was that bad. I actually kind of liked him.
Yeah.
He was okay.
I wasn't that impressed.
It wasn't the worst of backup keepers. I will say that.
Stephen Cleveland. That would be spicy. I don't think he leaves because I think Stephen Fry is donezo, and I think
especially with the injuries that he's dealt with this year, which is like 2 now. It's getting old. You're starting to get injured. Again, we've been talking about Seattle, where it's like maybe you just let all these guys go and kind of get some fresh, nice young legs that don't creak with every step. One of those things where like it's time. I think it's time.
I got one more, and it's a
more.
banger.
Give it to me.
Thomas Hasal. Ooh, remember that guy?
Oh God.
Oh yeah. Give
May-
me some Thomas Asal in my life.
Or what's the guy in Montreal too? It was Hassal and
Pantemis?
yes, Pantemis, who got hurt at the beginning of the year, just never got a job
Sorare
back.
has been he's just held that job forever.
Yep. So there you go.
Yeah.
Good luck with your goalkeeper roulette.
Bruh.
There are options in the
Buy
league.
them all. Somebody will get New England until they trade for Bill Hamid from Memphis.
Yikes.
That'd be
Hey,
spicy.
USL.
I'd love to see that.
Hey, it's possible.
I love me some Bill Hamid, and I was kind of surprised that he came to USL. He also did not play against us, which I was kind of mad at. I wanted to watch him play again,
Oh, boo hoo.
but we beat them, so that showed them.
That you did. But we are at an hour. We're getting there. I'm going to run through these last MLS games. If you see anything that you like, stop me, because we also got to talk about our private league and the updates on the standings. So the
Podiums.
first week is through, and there are some spicy results, some pain, some suffering, some smiley faces. But real quick, so we just get this MLS thing out of the way, because there's just too much to talk
Blast
about.
through all of them.
Blast through all of them. So Vancouver Whitecaps could not get it done against the San Jose Earthquakes.
Yeah.
Vancouver defensively, a lot of questions. They've been struggling for a little bit now. San Jose, the lucky little goal. They didn't really have much either, but they just couldn't get it done. Sucks for Vancouver. Their next 7 games are on the road or something like that. Very dangerous for them.
Tough.
This was their one chance to do it, and they did not. Welcome Richie Larea. Keep an eye on him. Moving on, Toronto is still very bad. Even though Montreal was up 3-0 at one point, Toronto got some back. Woo. Bernadeschi is back. Are you taking a gamble on Bernadeschi right now? Is he about to have a resurgence?
Potentially. I could see that.
Okay,
You know?
what's his price at?
His price is
cheap.
much cheaper than the other two.
He is
and
cheap.
he will get AA. He will.
He is cheap.
Well, he doesn't do as much AA as I thought.
Those scores are a little lackluster.
But he's the same as the other two, so why not get the cheaper guy?
Yeah, there's some sort of spikes. AA, yeah, a little questionable, but Bernadeschi is fun to watch.
That's also not all in MLS. You should look at only the MLS stuff because
yeah. I guess.
Some of that Italian stuff is that's a hard.
Okay.
You know, it's very similar to the other guys.
So 11 AA, 7 AA, yeah, but Bernadeschi is fun to watch.
Much rather have him than the other two.
Well, he's way cheaper than the other two.
Right.
I guess nobody believes in him, but hey, Toronto doesn't have to be good. Bernadeschi just has to be out there running and completing passes and doing fancy stuff. That's
okay.
it.
Michael Bradley's back, so they're saved.
Moving on, New York City.
He's just no, I will not talk about Michael Bradley.
We're not entertaining that conversation right now.
That's what their coach said. Michael Bradley's back. We're saved. Come on. Who do that? Okay, sorry. I've been enough of a distraction.
Minnesota United and New York City FC, NYCFC. You ain't got no history except for a small little banner in your stadium. Continue to not find the back of the net. Minnesota, they had a blip, but they came back. They won the St. Clair with a clean sheet. Finally, in a week where I put him in a dead lineup because I didn't think he could. Halongwane went out injured in the 39th minute.
Yeah, that's big.
Very sad. Must watch on that. He's been so good this season. And Timo Pukki, dude, so active on the field.
A few years ago was fun.
Oh my God, I remember that when he went on insane run. Yes.
Yeah, for Norwich.
Yes. Yeah, crazy. Pukki is good, and it's upsetting that it doesn't show up on Sorare because he is such an impact on the field.
Yeah.
But
traditional MLS forward.
Yeah, there you go.
Terrible on Sorare.
Really show up.
Great
One thing that I did notice on this that I wanted to point out is that quietly, Ishmael Tajuri Shradi is back in the MLS.
Don't say that. He's not back.
How long before he gets hurt again? How long before he gets hurt again?
He's probably already hurt. We're probably recording this. He
played 9 minutes and he got an assist, bro. He's the greatest
probably
MLS player
already
ever.
bumped into his couch or something. He's probably already hurt.
He did okay for LA. This was LAFC, right? Maybe. Yeah.
I can't believe he actually played some for LAFC.
And then he went to New England, didn't play. Ishmael Tajuri Shradi.
Charlotte. and then got traded to New England, right?
Was he?
Charlotte picked him as their expansion pick, and then
Oh,
immediately
that's
traded him or
right.
something. Dude's been everywhere. He was at
He
NYC before.
He's in. Oh my God, that's right. He was at NYC before he went to LAFC.
Yeah.
Well, he gets
actually
a move.
played
He plays
some at NYCFC.
He's another one of those guys, right? Where he doesn't get his chances, but when he does, bangers. Only bangers. This guy only scores bangers for like no reason whatsoever. But
No,
I just wanted to point out.
Don't trust him.
Can
we talk about Tallis Magno and like he's just gone? He's like fallen off the face of the earth. Tallis Magno.
Oh, he didn't even start.
He's somehow on the bench. He's been on the bench for them for like weeks. It's incredible.
Yeah. Sub. Started, did nothing. Sub.
Like, what?
Started, did nothing. Started, did nothing. Sub.
I don't get this one. Like, he's like Brenner. He should have been so good.
I mean, yeah. And Brenner went on his little runs or whatever, but it wasn't anything. Yeah, I mean, are they still playing him as a 9? Maybe? No? Yeah, bro. Tyus Magno is dead.
Rodriguez is the 9. They don't have a 9. That's the problem. He needs to play left wing. He needs to move. He needs to not be in New York. Like, go to Kansas City or something and just like don't be in New York City, and he'll be like the best player you've ever seen.
He's
not staying in the league.
It's wild, man. Because you see him, you see the runs that he makes. He gets in behind so easily. He runs off the shoulder. Defenders so clean, but it's just I don't know. It's so weird because the skill's there, but he just can't miss the sitters. Maybe I don't know. Maybe it's the small pitch, fake pitch,
the baseball field. I don't know.
He just can't take playing at a baseball field seriously.
He's not a New York guy.
I don't know. I don't know what it is. NYCFC, again, they're just one of those teams that, I mean, they got Maxi Morales back, whatever, blue, I guess.
NYC was like, wait, we just need to get the cup team back and we'll be fine. They shipped them off. They saw Messi and Busquets and everybody go to Miami, and they were like, wait, you can bring back players from old teams and put them all back together again? Like, wait, is this a thing? Yeah.
They were like, oh.
Yikes.
Oh, they got Messi back? Oh, we got Maxi Morales.
Take that.
MLS 2.0, baby.
Better
Let's
Argentine.
Go. Well, that's Minnesota. That's
Minnesota. True, too. And they played each other. The battle of the two best Argentines in MLS.
And once again, we were proven that Reynoso was the number 1 Argentine in this league.
No doubt. From me.
No doubt.
The other one didn't even play this weekend. In MLS.
You just want a stupid trophy or whatever. Talk about it. But here we are near the end. Chris, the so rare in the States private league, the MLS is back competition, the run to the playoffs is here. Week 1 is in the bag. Chris, there is something I want to show you.
Look at that.
Look at that. Chris, the MLS card guy.
Someone's on the podium. And it's not going to
place?
change either. I was talking a lot of smack on Twitter, especially at Hoodwink. Is Hoodwink in this thing? I didn't even look.
Yes, he's right here, 7th. He's right behind you.
Oh, well, then we're definitely good.
He is near and dear.
If he's in 7th, I'm fine.
He is 24 points behind you.
He's going to drop like a rock. You know that already. So yeah, we're all good here. Only one of us needs to finish on the podium for no one to get anything. And don't worry, I got you.
It's
bro.
Okay.
You had some issues with the hurricane, which is cool.
I want to say I looked through a couple of these lineups. There's 77 of you. So for all of those that are in here, make sure to follow the show because we're going to be giving you updates all the time. But there's a lot of us who fell victim to Hurricane Hillary and took some DMPs. But we are down, but not out because we have Messi. That's the top 10. Do you, Chris, I know you're talking a lot of smack, but realistically, how hard do you think it is going to keep your top spot? Like right now, how hard do you think this competition is going to be? Because you have to be consistent to win this thing. You got to be consistent week in, week out.
Yeah. You do have to be consistent. I feel like I've got a really good team. Like that's gonna have some Like I can play some matchups sometimes. So I don't know. I feel like we're in good shape. We're ahead of Hoodwink, which is the main goal. We're gonna finish top 3 so that nobody gets any prizes because I want to be the Grinch, man. Like I don't want to give anything up. So yeah, we're gonna keep rolling to a top 3 finish, and we're gonna be laughing all the way to the bank.
Yeah,
Just wait.
we'll see. But a little alpha before we make the official post, I will say right here, if you made it this far into the episode, thank you. Like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. But I will announce to you right now, thanks to the generosity from Zardes Fan Club himself, who is going to be donating a Zardes card to the prize pool. I will be throwing in a Facundo Torres card into the prize pool. And of course, it wouldn't be a Silver in the States show with Chris, the MLS card guy, if there was not an Aaron Long up there in the prize pool.
That's the most valuable. I can't not finish in the podium because I must keep that Aaron Long.
That's his only goal. He doesn't even want to win this.
That's
all
Hoodwink wants.
Give away an Aaron Long.
That's all Hoodwink wants.
That is all Hoodwink wants.
If he finishes top 3, I'm never going to hear the end of it.
But those are some rewards. We're working on getting some more. But it should be a good time. If
you'd like to donate, please call the number on your screen.
Yes, right down below where I'm not going to edit. Ooh, right there.
There's no numbers on the screen.
That's just Chris.
He's just pointing at me.
Hello, buddy. Good luck on the podium. I came in 25th. I dropped down a little bit.
It's okay. I'll give you some pointers, and we'll get you up to the podium so that even if I stumble a little bit, you'll pick us up.
It's all right because you know who I had on my bench instead of Buanga? I had Bernadeschi, who scored 2 goals. So y'all would have been in some real trouble.
Yep.
But I felt bad. I didn't want to completely sweep the competition.
You want to fall behind for a more dramatic comeback.
Yeah. Obviously.
That's what it is.
I'm coming in for the late when everyone least expects it. I'm just gonna rise in. The cream rises to the top.
That's why I'm at the top, because I'm cream. I'm just all cream. No coffee at all, just cream.
Shout out to the iced coffee that got me zipping.
Look at that.
Anyway,
that's
a nice coffee. Yeah, it was great. Chris, the MLS card guy. What an episode. So much to go over. It was all over the place. Hope you guys followed. Is there anything else you would like to say?
Aaron Long for president.